afraid to take 1 or 2 yards, right? That's it. Just rush for 1 or 2, and then get into save yourself for the next down. Joe Burrow is really good at not mismanaging the downs to get himself in like 3rd and 4 and forever. You know what I mean? Like he's in good shape to be in 3rd and manageable, even if they're longer downs and distances.
What I love about just the write-up on this one, Cynthia, and I think it's a fun part of how the game has evolved and the coverage of the game has evolved. And you're saying, look, yes, he could run. There is pressure, but as you point out, he's only done 3 or more rush attempts 8 times this season, twice in the previous 5 games. But then you get into the coverage, and now you have the availability to understand how often do teams play single high. How good is Burrow against single safety shells? As you say, he's the best in every metric you track. But against 2 safety shells, quarters passer rating drops. The Rams play the most quarters in the NFL. They rate in the top 10 when they use it. So you think he's going to run because he's got to sometimes make plays with his legs due to the blanket coverage downfield. I like that. Do you love that all the information that is now available to you as somebody who loves the numbers and loves being able to dive in, make recommendations and models based on what's there, and to think about how far that's come in the last 20 years?
Yeah, that's the best part, because really all we're looking for is logic, and we're all looking for a reason why. Like, there's enough hot take artists in the world, and there's ones that are really good. Like, I hats off to them. I could never get so fired up about anything so many days in a row. Like, good job. That's incredible. But at the end of the day, it's like, let's put together like a good logic puzzle, especially for people who know the game. Like, if you are, and I know Browns fans are exceptional at knowing the game, so they know what quarters coverage is. They know, what, I have seen them do that. Oh, you know what, I did notice Joe Burrow isn't as good against 2 safety shells. And I do know, like, you give him single high, like, goodbye to Jamar Chase or T. Higgins or any of the other pass-catching options. So, it's like you can relate what you see, because the whole point is that the numbers, they're not trying to trick you, and they're not trying to lie. They're trying to give you a bar, a benchmark to measure something against. Not necessarily, it doesn't say, like, bad or good. It says, will it be more than this? Well, if it is, like, there's stats out there that say, like, when Matthew Stafford throws an interception, blah, 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 the Rams aren't as good. Got it. Well, why is he throwing an interception? What's going on, right? Is it because he's in pressure and he's throwing bad? Like, it's not as simple as just being like, oh, he throws a pick and they're done for. Like, that's not the truth. And football fans know that.
Cynthia, let's talk about Burrow just for a second, because he appears to be completely unflappable no matter how far they get down. It doesn't bug him. You mentioned how great he is in down and distance. He doesn't put himself in a lot of bad spots. That's been an evolution, though, because there was times early in this season when he would throw the ball to the other team where it was rough for him. But something's clicked here in the last couple of months, and now he's playing as good as anybody. And it feels like if he's got the ball, they're going to go score. He's got that type of confidence. His team follows him. What have you seen from him in this last month to get them to where they are now?
Yeah, I mean, part of what I've seen is that it feels like look, like there's all these football adages that I don't love, like the game's slowing down for him, defense travels, blah blah blah. Like, no, but the reality is he is able to diagnose those defenses and get to his second, third, fourth read. You saw Joe Mixon, his use in the flat, the short passing game has really come on, but Joe Mixon specifically in the flat, that's something that has been like their playoff special. So when you look to see, okay, what's he doing? Well, he's actually being able to adjust to defenses, and he's doing it at a faster pace than many expected, especially given, a lot of times players get shook after an injury like the one he had, and it takes them a while to come back, and then they have that, all of us, that, you get that extra, that flinch, because I want to protect my knee that's just, I just had an ACL, like this is going to hurt. So he doesn't have that. He seems to have, whatever he's done mentally, emotionally, physically, to not be in that space, he's really able to see what the defenses are giving him and figure out a way around it. Because let's be honest, like most people cannot. There's a reason why you don't get sacked 9 times in a game and still win. That's like happened twice ever that we know of in a playoff game, right? So, it's not a normal thing for a reason, but he's able to overcome that. And like I said, especially after that ACL, you don't typically see that mental fortitude.
And kind of piggybacking off that, you mentioned the stat. I figured you might be the only person who would maybe know the answer or have this at the ready. But, I've seen various places quote the number, but 93 pressures that he's faced in the last 6 games, which would be 15.5 a game, and yet he's 6-0 in those games. Is that without precedent as well, Cynthia? And, you're facing a very good Rams front, and a lot of people think that's going to be the key. Well, they're going to be able to get to him. Well, as you pointed out, the Titans got to him 9 times. Over the last 6 games, 93 pressures, and he's still 6-0. That's an incredible stat to me.
It is an incredible stat. You don't see it very often, and I'm going to tell you, it is not sustainable. It's like
right.
over the course of, 6 games is actually a relatively small sample size. If that happened over the course of the season, ask Matthew Stafford. He could tell you when he was a Lion. You can only get crushed so many times and bounce back from it. But I really think what it shows you is, and we don't, maybe it kind of gets overlooked a bit, but the how impressive the Bengals defense has been in order to get. Everything is about like how they complement each other. All of life, balance, the whole thing. And what Luan Morano's been able to do with that defense that was pretty bad last season, to come back and be in this space where they're giving them just enough time and just enough yardage and just enough, and special teams has obviously been a huge strength for them, but the other parts of the game, because part of the reason why you typically, if you're getting pressured so often and you don't bounce back from it, is because your defense is then getting gashed by a run game. That means that your offense now then has to be in more obvious passing downs. And then those more obvious passing downs means more opportunities for defense to pressure you. And it just kind of becomes this bad cycle of negative things that happen. But really what the Bengals defense has done is they've given it so that the teams, they can't go out there and just clock manage their way into victory. So it kind of shows the complementary nature of the entire, all 3 phases.
Cynthia, we were having a discussion with our chief strategy officer, Paul DePodesta, on this show a couple weeks ago. And one of the things that they are...
Oh, I love that man. He's great.
Likewise. We have a mutual admiration society. And one of the things he was talking about, certainly as it relates to the Browns, and then I'm going to kind of tie this into the Super Bowl, but was the notion that, and trying to understand empirically, if there is an advantage to having a true number 1 top dog receiver and then other good complementary pieces, or do you want to have, 3 guys that are all very good, but none is that number 1? And if you look at this game, for example, you see on the Rams side Cooper Kupp, who just won the Triple Crown, and while he doesn't fit the bill of what people would say, oh, he's not the 6'4", prototypical outside vertical receiver, he just had the Triple Crown, and it doesn't matter. Everybody knows he's getting the ball and still can't stop him. And then on the other side, Jamar Chase, it feels like has fundamentally changed what the Bengals are able to do on offense. Now, these teams supporting cast, T. Higgins, Boyd, Uzoma, Mixon, obviously, on that side, and then OBJ, Woods when he was healthy, Higbee, Van Jefferson, and the running back stable they've got are good. Have you started to see a trend? And you look at, these 2 teams in the Super Bowl certainly fit the bill, but that is maybe one of the most important things you can get for a young quarterback is to have that true game-changing number 1?
Well, both of those number 1 guys that you mentioned, they do something that is very rare for a wide receiver in a 10-year sample, which is they help their O-line overcome being bad.
Yep.
The Bengals O-line is not good. They're not ranked in the top half of the league by almost any metric that anyone I know who I think is valuable could ever say, right? There's the sacks alone will tell that story. But the Rams' offensive line isn't that great either. They've had their moments, but they're not an epic line. They're not a prolific line. And both of those number 1s create space, and the space helps create just enough time for their quarterbacks. But I will say that life's about supply and demand, and you can't always build. You have to build based on what's available to you within your cap constraints and also what's out there. And,
yep.
We had a couple of years where these wide receiver drafts were really epic. And I'm going to say the Rams got a little bit lucky in that, 1, they could get Odell Beckham, and 2, Cooper Kupp turned out to be as prolific as he is, given that we had a lot of, nobody knew how any of these guys are going to be, but him even more was a little bit more murky, to use that word. But at the end of the day, it's what do you have at your disposal? And what the Rams have is, in Cooper Kupp is someone that is a incredible ability to separate is just incredible for him. So that was they got a good find there. Their scouting department, they don't ever have to draft in the first round. So they're easy to focus on later round picks that are going to be great, but you have to hit on what's there. And we've had great receiver drafts in the past few, and that's what's been out there. And if you already have a quarterback, and obviously getting Joe Burrow they were very lucky to be able to, that he panned out in the way that he has. Those things have to work together. If you don't have a great quarterback, then maybe you don't need that great number 1. Maybe you need to reinforce your run game. You have to know to be very honest about what personnel you have, how much of a degree of a change you can make over time, and then you have to go get the Bengals drafted in the top 3 over the past 2 years. Like that they built from the best college players available.
Yeah, and did a heck of a job doing it as well with great picks. Higgins, Logan Wilson's had a nice season for them with the 5 interceptions at linebacker. They've done a tremendous job. My question, kind of piggybacking off that then for you, is if you were to kind of look, we know who the elite quarterbacks are in this league, and they don't grow on trees. There's a reason why you could make the case that going in this offseason, 20 of the 32 teams are questioning what they're doing at quarterback for the 2022 season. That being said, if you were to prioritize based on kind of what you're seeing in the league, your numbers, the following 3 categories. Pass catchers, so I'll call those wide receivers and tight ends because I think great tight ends obviously can have a major impact on the game. Running backs or offensive line. Where would you, if you're running an organization, Cynthia, where would you be putting your resources?
I mean, again, it would always depend on where I'm starting, but if I'm starting with an average team, I think, look, like if I wherever I can get disproportionate value. If I'm the Browns right now, I have a bomb O-line, I have a bomb running back situation. I would prioritize wide receiver, and I would sign Baker Mayfield. That's how I would do it. But I wouldn't sign him I wouldn't give him Patrick Mahomes money, but I would sign him for an amount that makes sense because you have to have discipline. The cap's not going up this year as much as people anticipated that it would last year. So,
right.
The discipline with the cap ensures your future. But I mean, look, most traditional, personnel people say quarterback, pass rusher, left tackle, wide receiver, corner, and the wide receiver corner can be flip flopped. It just depends on if their individual preferences. But starting with those 4, and you've got your defense, you're pretty stacked there, and that O-line pretty stacked there too. So I would go out and this is a what's your flavor type of draft in many ways. So what kind of, if you're not, there's a couple of good pass rushers that are going to be at the top, but where the Browns are picking, it's going to be about fulfilling needs. The problem with what could happen in this quarterback free agency and the market and the way that it works is, remember, the cap didn't go up as much as people thought. Some teams are extremely underwater, and other teams are really, really liquid. And so this year you're going to see who are the good drafters, who is the smart front office. More so, the past 2 years it's been whose front office is better. That's what we're competing on, not this like plethora of like just crazy abundance of skill that we really see. Like, this guy's going to fit in any scheme. There aren't that many of those guys in this draft.
Interesting.
Cynthia, thanks for sharing your brain with us today.
Yes.
We appreciate your time.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
All right, that's the great Cynthia Freeland, great friend of the program in the NFL Network. You can follow her at C Freeland on Twitter. All sorts of good stuff, good information there on those side of things, and some fun stuff on the Super Bowl prop betting if that is something that you are interested in. As we approach the top of the hour, coming up next, we're going to have a little fun with the 56 most important players in Super Bowl 56. A little Doug Farr with a piece that we'll have a little fun with. We also have some coaching news around the league, and we have some interesting things out in the desert with their quarterbacks.
Boy, do we.
There's a lot of stuff to deal with here around the league. We do that coming up in the final hour. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Second hour here, Cleveland Browns Daily on a Tuesday edition. Beau here for my friends at EOX Vantage. EOX Vantage connects core systems that don't talk. From reporting and analytics to insight and decision-making, gain a more complete real-time picture of your business. Eliminate the Excel nightmares that drive you nuts from your processes. You can see your important data in one place. Gain real-time insight to make data-driven decisions on performance through role-based visualization dashboards. With EOX Vantage, you can benefit from lower overall costs, better alignment between technology and business needs, scalability, easy deployment, and management. EOX Vantage makes your data work smarter to move your business forward. You're about growth, and your software should be too. With EOX Vantage, it can be. Check them out, www.eoxvantage.com for more. All right, what is the task at hand here? We are going to draft the 56 most important players in this Super Bowl. That's what we're doing.
Well,
sir?
we're not going to draft 56. We're going to just draft 10 each.
Okay.
And we'll do a snake, and I'll give you your option. You can have first or second.
You
or
go
third.
first.
I'll go first. Okay. All right. And then we're going to use Doug Farr's article to
see where
we're at. So I am going to take Aaron Donald. That's right. Look at the big brain on this guy. Think of picking a quarterback? Come on, man.
I will take Kupp and Chase.
Wow. Okay. Didn't see that coming. Didn't see that coming at all. All right. I'm going to take Jalen Ramsey. And I'm going to take Trey Hendrickson.
I'll take Stafford and Burrow.
Can't take Stafford and Burrow.
Love it.
Why not?
All right, fine. You can take him.
Why?
Well, because
I understand
your team is not going to have two quarterbacks on it.
But we're not building a team. We're taking the 10 most important players.
Well,
if
that's what we were doing, there's no way it should have made it that far for you to even take him the second time.
I know, but I think
did that just occur to you?
Neither of us. We both were doing it as if we were filling out a team.
Yeah.
But then we never set up the rules to say that we had to fill out a team.
All right. Do you want Stafford and Burrow? Yeah. Or do you want one of them?
Stafford, Burrow, both.
Okay.
I feel like I'm going to win. I shouldn't do that.
I think you are. I would imagine they're 1 and 2. How could they not be?
Yeah, I would think they would be the two most important people in this. Who did you have? Who do you have other than Donald and Ramsey?
And Hendrickson.
Hendrickson?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's back to me now.
I won't do that. I'll take Burrow.
Okay.
I'll take Burrow and Bates.
Oh, I like that. Jesse Bates. All right. I'll take Von Miller.
So in order for me not to do that, though, you have to take Stafford
right
here.
I'll take Stafford right there.
You got Vaughn and Stafford.
I mean, my defense feels pretty ferocious.
Right. Yeah, you do. All right, so you have 3 D linemen.
I have Donald, Hendrickson, Von Miller, and
Vaughn.
Ramsey. I have 4 defensive players.
You have 4 defensive players.
Yeah.
I'll go. Let me think. I'll go Odell.
Okay.
And Mixon.
I like it. Your offense is looking pretty good. All right, I'll take T. Higgins. And I'm going to take Andrew Whitworth. I may only have one pass catcher. I'm going to have all day to throw to him.
Well, we're not building a team, though.
No, I know it's most important guys. It's trying to figure out.
Most important guys, yeah.
Yeah. It's fun. I like this. It's interesting. It's an interesting way to think about it.
Well, it is because you're going counter with how you would think because you're not building a team. You're trying to build the most important, which is where obviously the 2 quarterbacks, the 2 most important.
Sure. I thought you were going to go one of the receivers and then Jalen Ramsey, honestly. And then I would have come back with the other of the 2 superstar receivers and then gone the other way.
Right.
But I like what you're doing.
You're
emphasizing offense. I'm emphasizing defense.
Yeah. Is it me?
Yeah. You get 2.
Akers.
Uh-huh.
Why am I blanking? McPherson.
The kicker. Oh, I like that one. What a nice out of the box call. All right, I will take, since took both running backs, I'll take Tyler Higbee. I think he's got to have a nice role in this game. And then let's see. gotta take a gander real quick at this Bengals roster for a second. Oh, I'll take because I think it's fun. It's fun to put him on this list because what he's doing is so cool. I'm gonna take Eric Weddle.
Yeah, I thought of him too as a potential guy. I got to find somebody in the interior. I got to find somebody on that Bengals offensive line that's going to have to show up a little bit. Let's see. Boy, it's probably they've been so bad. That group has been so bad. I'll go Sam Hubbard. I'll finish with Hubbard.
All right. You get one more?
No, that's it, right?
I think that's 9.
Oh, yeah, it is. All right, so I'll go Hubbard and I don't even like their offense. Hopkins, their center, I suppose, has got to do something with Donald. Him and the left guard, him and the guards are going to have to double up Donald. So I'll just take the Bengals interior, the Bengals offensive line, the 2 guards in the center, all 3 of them.
You only get to have one of them.
I get all 3 of them.
No, you don't.
Well, I was supposed to have both quarterbacks, so I'm going to.
You could have both quarterbacks.
Stretch the rule and say that I want the guards.
A person could only be.
I'm trying. Well, where does Donald line up predominantly? Like he goes
all
everywhere.
Over.
So how do you try to do something to minimize that? Might actually be Isaiah Prince, the right tackle, or could be Jonah Williams. Nah, it's probably
could
Isaiah.
be Quinn Spahn, who is at left guard.
That's fine. He's fine. I'll take him. Spain.
All right. And then for me here, I think I'll take I'm guessing I'll probably go Tyler Boyd, right? Tyler Boyd feels like he could have a chance.
Sure.
All right, so we'll golf style, right? We're gonna do this based off Doug. Golf style lowest.
Who are your last 2?
Total.
You had
Weddle and Boyd.
Who
might not even. Who knows where they're gonna show up here? This is fun. So Beau and I, for full disclosure, neither of us looked at this article, so we don't know what the rankings are gonna be. All right, I'm gonna go through it and I'll call out.
You give me the numbers.
I'll call out the numbers. Joe Burrow, number 1.
Okay.
All right, that's a good start for you. You got the number 1 most important guy.
I think you're gonna have 2 and 3, aren't you?
I think I could have 2, 3, 4.
Donald, Stafford, Cup.
Well, you have Cup.
Oh yeah, I have Cup. That's right.
These I got to apologize.
Is this all the pop-ups on CBS?
It's USA Today. USA Today. You can't. It's trying to run a movie. They're trying to run a movie in the bottom right.
I'm on something, and all of a sudden, I'm getting McAfee's show live with AJ Hawk, and AJ just is always smoking a cigar.
I can't even get rid of the picture down
Just
here.
stop with the pop-ups.
Number 2 is Aaron Donald.
Okay.
Number 3 is Stafford.
Okay.
It's an unbelievable thing that we're dealing with.
I got this. You do the numbers. I'm trying. I got your numbers.
Okay. All right. Number 4, Cooper Kupp.
Okay.
5, Jamar Chase.
Okay.
Good job by you. 6, Jalen Ramsey.
Okay.
7, Von Miller.
Okay.
8, Mixon. Wow, good for Mixon. 9, Hendrickson.
Okay.
We're pretty even split. Odell gets number 10. Wouldn't have seen that coming. Number 11, not on either of our teams, Chidobe Awuzie, former corner out of Colorado. Leonard Floyd, 12, the other edge rusher. Bates, 13. Good job by you. T. Higgins, 14 for my team. Thank you, T. Higgins. Sony Michel, 15.
Wow, over Akers.
16, Mike Hilton, the nickelback. Thought about him. 17, Quentin Spain. Shouldn't have helped you out with that one. That'll do it for you. 18, Sam Hubbard. I think it's a route. Let's see, 19 was Gaines. 21, Andrew Whitworth. 22 is Rapp. 23, Eli Apple. 24, C.J. Uzama. Now this is where it gets dicey.
This could 25, get dicey because there could be some big numbers
25, here. Tyler Higbee.
Eesh.
26, Logan Wilson, neither team. 27, Darius Williams, the corner for the Rams. 28, haven't seen tackle for the Rams. 29 is a big one for you, Evan McPherson, 29.
So I got 1 left.
Von Bell, 30. How many do I have left?
You have 3 left.
I have what? Higbee, Weddle, and Boyd?
Higbee, Weddle, and Boyd. No, Higbee's gone. You have Weddle, and Boyd. That's it. You have 2, I have 1. You have Weddle and Boyd, I have Akers.
You've got it. Good job by you.
Well, do I? Because
Akers, 35.
Okay, now I have it.
Now you've got it. Wow, Boyd, no respect, huh? I thought Weddle would be important because I feel like he's a potential liability. Still going down the list. Still going. Maybe I missed Weddle, 42. Boyd, 43. There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
Good job by you. We had a pretty good mix of the top 10.
Well,
I
the
think we each
first
had
the
5
first
of the
10
top
picks,
10.
I think we're all there.
Yeah. You had 1 and 4. I had 2 and 3.
Yeah. I mean, it just comes down.
But
It's in simplest terms, as important as Aaron Donald is. It's just the two quarterbacks.
Of course.
That's it. It's all that matters. It's two quarterbacks.
He's the only guy, though, that
He's
in
the
the
only
league that
one.
probably would be ranked ahead of one of the quarterbacks.
And I think that's almost just out of respect for him.
Yeah.
Because he is so, that's it. I mean, there's hardly any other way that you come to a point and you would do that.
Johnny Hecker, the punter, comes in at 47. Former Brown Austin Corbett at 46.
I'll tell you, McPherson is an unbelievable weapon.
I'm surprised Gay doesn't get any more respect. He's the Pro Bowl kicker for the NFC.
Yeah,
Obviously
I had him in fantasy all year. He's
solid.
Yeah, he's been very, very solid. McPherson's just just automatic.
It's nuts. Come on, the story of him saying, "I guess we're going to the what is it? I guess we're going to the Super Bowl."
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good on that front. This is going to be a fun game. There's a lot of star power in this game.
Yeah.
Dude, so on this list, you want to talk, I mean, this isn't hard. This is just masterclass drafting. In 2 drafts, they got numbers 1, 5, and 14 on this list in 2 drafts.
Yeah.
Bengals.
And Logan Wilson was in the
he was in there 20
20s.
something. Right.
Yeah.
Burrow, Chase, Higgins in 2 drafts.
Yep.
2 1s and a 2.
I wonder if Jermaine Pratt was in the 30s on this.
Yeah.
This guy we talked about back in the day on old CB.
We did.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something else. That's crushing it.
I think it's wild.
Most important players at a Super Bowl, they all got it. Meantime, and it speaks to the program building of the 2 teams because from the other side of it, it's all trade. When you think of it from the Rams side of it, I mean, obviously they drafted Kupp, they drafted Donald, but Ramsey trade, Stafford trade, Vaughn trade, Odell for free. Whitworth was free agent.
Whitworth was a free agent.
Yeah. Akers they drafted.
Sony Michel
trade.
That's what's wild about it is that the
way the 2 teams built.
And first of all, Stafford wasn't on the team last year. Miller and OBJ weren't on the team to start the season. Neither was Sony Michel. He was traded to them right at the beginning of the year when Darrell Henderson got hurt. Maybe before the game 1, but was not a part of their program headed into this season.
No.
Whereas everybody on that team every Bengal was a part of the program.
Yeah. Yeah, they all were.
I mean, heck, what friggin' Weddle out of retirement? I mean, what are we doing? Can that keep going? I know he had a great game, and he's got 2 weeks to even maybe get a little bit more, in shape and all those things. But that feels like.
Don't you think that was just to play San Francisco, almost, that because he's good in the run stop? It was almost like that's a fit. I don't know how he can't run with those guys from Cincinnati.
That's what I think.
I don't think you can have him back there. Doug will join us tomorrow on the program to preview Super Bowl 56 and talk about why he had the guys ranked the way he did. A wild story out of Arizona with Kyler Murray, and one that potentially could be without precedent if it goes the way that it kind of seems like it could be. We'll get to that coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Now the weather is cold outside. Nice hot bath or shower would feel amazing, but it can be so much more than that when you transform a custom bath with my good friends at the Bath Authority. They can make it feel like a spa at the fraction of the cost of the competitors. The Bath Authority, Cleveland's premier bath and shower remodeler. They can do it in about a day. They have expert factory-trained installers. Call now for $500 off your next custom bath or shower remodel. That's 216-220-8399 or go to thebathauthority.com. It's where affordability meets quality. Largest selection of bath projects. They're all made in the United States. You can change your bathroom from outdated to outstanding. The wet space will be converted into spa space. Trust me on this. Superior Products, expert installers on thebathauthority.com. This is where we are in I'll be very candid with you. I am a generation removed from this, at least, with the social media. Like, I'm on it. I feel like, we do it, and it's part of the life, but it's not something that I grew up with, and you guys are the same. We're of a similar age. But these guys who grow up on it and have always had it, and the way that they use it. And so this gets us into the Kyler Murray situation. So this has kind of gotten attention in the last day. Kyler Murray has eliminated anything having to do with the Arizona Cardinals from his Instagram.
Yep.
It's
scrubbed.
Gone. It's scrubbed. There's no mention of it. He doesn't follow the Arizona Cardinals on his Instagram like he used to. He has a set of images from the Pro Bowl on his Instagram, but there's only one where you can even see a tip of like a Cardinal helmet, like just kind of the logo on the side. Everything else is straightforward, nothing Cardinals. And then there's a picture of him at Oklahoma, playing quarterback at Oklahoma. That's it. That's the list. In a normal circumstances, and if you're of a certain age, you'd go, well, you guys are idiots. Like, who cares? What are we talking about? Not anymore. All of these things are done for purpose and for reason.
Yep.
We've seen Baker do this stuff. These guys that are of this age in their 20s, like, this is how they operate. This is part of their life. It's part of their social existence. He's sending a message here. It is absolutely a thing. I don't know what message he's sending, but I do think that he has an opportunity to do something that I cannot recall ever happening previously. Now, there has been instances, John Elway, Bo Jackson, of, hey, don't draft me or I'll go play baseball. John Elway did that to the Colts, the Baltimore Colts, and forced his way to Denver and said, I'm going to go play for the Yankees if you draft me. Bo Jackson did this. Hugh Culverhouse, the then owner of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he flew Bo Jackson on a plane when he was still at Auburn to come visit Tampa Bay. Bo got in trouble and was kicked off the baseball team or suspended from the baseball team at Auburn because it wrecked his amateurism status, which is just stupid. But nevertheless, Bo was so upset about it, he says, do not draft me. Do not draft me. And they drafted him, I believe, first overall. And he went and played baseball for the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah.
So there is precedent there, but never with a guy who has started playing and then to bail. And he has a legitimate option. He is a stud baseball player. He's a big leaguer. His first-round pick. He could go play for the A's.
Okay. So some people think that he is, perhaps unhappy with his contract situation, which he's on his rookie contract.
He's on his rookie contract. What do you want him to do?
He's got he's got fourth year of his rookie contract and then the fifth-year option, so he'd be locked in the Cardinals for 2 seasons. He wants an extension now. Basically, he was very disappointed by how the season ended.
Is this conjecture? Or is this what people think?
This is some conjecture, but then during practice out of the 2022 Pro Bowl, Murray discussed the disappointing end of the season with Cardinals reporter Darren Urban. I won't get into too much detail, but just get better. I think there are a lot of things we all need to address individually. Team-wise, we kind of understand what happened, how we got there. We've got to do it together. Obviously, everyone has to work hard individually. When we come together, we've got to be ready to go because it doesn't get any easier. We've made strides throughout the 3 years I've been here, but we haven't reached that ultimate goal. So that doesn't sound crazy. People within the Cardinals organization seem to be surprised. Like, if he's unhappy, that is news to them. But like you said, is it a flex about that? Is he somebody that's looking to get out? Is he trying to get traded? I don't know. I have no idea what's going on.
The market for him would be so robust.
Quite robust.
If he became available somehow. would be so robust. I can't even imagine what the give back would be on that on a guy with 2 years left on a rookie deal.
It would be, as I like to say, it would truly be without precedent. I mean, there would be no such precedent for this type of a move ever.
No, I can't think of it. There's plenty of people who have asked for trades, and we wonder if player empowerment would ever come to the NFL. Deshaun Watson tried to do that, but then got in trouble off the field, and so, or there were all the allegations off the field. I guess he hasn't been in trouble, but there were the allegations off the field, and so that was paused. He's the first example of someone that I could recall doing that this early in their career. Palmer retired rather than continue to play in Cincinnati. Rodgers threatened Green Bay, but eventually went back. There just isn't a whole lot of examples of this going forward. So did Dan Patrick and Rich Eisen discuss this on Rich Eisen's show, or on, what are they both doing a show?
Rich Eisen, it's a big Super Bowl week with Rich and with Dan, and they did a little mini ESPN reunion. Like Trey Wingo was there.
Oh, okay.
But Dan was on Rich's show yesterday, and then Rich, I think, was on Dan's show today.
And The Miz was on Rich's show today.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Rich's show has a wide array of people. Like, he can get Larry David on that show.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know
Will Ferrell yesterday.
Yeah, I don't know that show's on in any market anywhere. I don't even know where it is.
Peacock, I think.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
But he gets a lot of big-time guests on that show. So here is Dan and Rich discussing. Let's have a listen.
Kyler Murray.
You guys are down 5.5.
Everything Cardinals related from his Instagram page. 1.3 million followers.
What's up with that? You know, like, how do you glean from this other than the fact that what? Like, what is he?
Unhappy. Wants
about
out.
What? They've given him everything
Doesn't
he wants.
like Cliff's offense.
Oh, you're just stirring the pot. You don't know.
Well,
this
yeah,
for
no,
sure.
I don't know any of it for sure. But like,
can you make anything?
all of a
out
sudden
this?
he's gone and deleted all his pictures and everything that he had to do with the Cardinals.
That's specific. That takes doing.
Was this after he threw the pick six in the Pro Bowl that he decided to do that?
It was noticed last night.
Did he blame the offensive coordinator in the Pro Bowl?
Possible.
I don't know. I mean, I had my infamous run-in with him at the Super Bowl in Atlanta when he just sat there and didn't answer any questions.
Well, that's because he was put out in front of the media by whoever he was.
Gatorade.
Yeah, right. And he had yet to announce whether he was going to play football or baseball. And we had a similar thing because we were just down the hall from you.
Yeah.
And here's the crazy thing is, he came to us first. We pre-taped him, and then he was on your show. We warmed him up for you. He was warmed up, Dan. Dan, we warmed him up and sent him down the hallway. Already talked. He was already in the business of talking, and that happened. And then all of a sudden, it goes viral. What he was doing on your show, and we're like, well, get ready for us to press play on this thing later on. He wouldn't say a word.
No, and I
about all that.
Remember talking to two NFL teams, two people who worked with two different teams, and they said it made them like reconsider, his draft status.
Right.
Even though they thought, okay, he'll probably go number one, but that personality scared them. That he wasn't talking, and why wasn't he talking, and somehow it became that teams took that interview,
right,
if you want to call it an interview, and because they're always looking for somebody who loved the game, somebody a leader, somebody
red flags,
great communicator. Yeah, they're always looking for something. It's what's the red flag? He didn't answer Dan Patrick's questions.
Right.
We're not taking him.
Well.
But I subsequently had an interview with him where he made fun of that. He was, he had personality, he made fun of it.
What else can you do after that, right? I mean,
yeah.
So.
But I don't know if, wasn't Cliff his guy? And
I guess so. And the crazy thing is that, usually when you're drafted first, just ask Matthew Stafford, okay? I mean, ask Matthew Stafford, who's now in year 13. He's finally making it to the Super Bowl, had to go in and have, an epiphany moment and share it with his wife. As a group, as a family, then decide, we are going to press the button of I want out of here. We want out of here. And it's emotional. It's so tough. And he did it. Just ask him how long it takes. How many people get DeAndre Hopkins and the A.J. Green and, James Conner and have all of these folks around you? Let's add Watt. I mean, I don't know what this could be. You have to view that something pissed him off. I mean, to cleanse an account like that, I mean, you could have somebody do it, but at least it's the decision to do it because people are going to read into it.
But he still has his Oakland A's account, so.
Oh, my word. I bet that start to look for it. No, yeah. I mean, because
he's not following the Cardinals either.
How about this, though? Like, let's just say this. You add him to the mix of wanting out and add him to the mix of the quarterback carousel. What happens then? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you want to add him? What do you do with that information? Because the Cardinals wouldn't do anything like that. And I don't know.
Well, I still wonder if, Matthew Stafford was going to end up with Carolina. And
Carolina would not be in the Super Bowl this week, though.
They would not be. But, you look at these things that something happens or it didn't happen, and then what the end result would be. The Rams go all in. And Stafford, you don't want to be the bad guy. You want the team to say, you know what, it's a mutual parting. This benefits the Lions, and Matthew is given all of this. It's like Seattle's going to come to this fork in the road with Russell Wilson. Because I think Russ is going to ask the Seahawks to do for him what the Lions did for Matthew Stafford. Like, you guys are going in a different direction. At my age, I want to play for somebody else, or this is where I want to play. And you don't want to be the bad guy, because I don't know this, but I don't think Russ
back in 30
Carroll that you want to continue to try to make that work, because I think it hasn't worked. I think it's worked sometimes because of and in spite of, and I could see Russ going, you know what? Let me go. I'm going to cost you this amount of money. Let me go. I want to play someplace else. And it goes back to the Super Bowl where he was the Walter Payton Man of the Year watching Mahomes and Brady playing a Super Bowl. He's like, what am I doing here?
So, Rich brings up the idea that if Kyler were to if Kyler's not hitting the market, the Arizona Cardinals are not, you stand firm on this. Like, you do not, he's in his third year. Like, you do not, he's not in the market. I actually think, Gibby asked a question, could this quarterback offseason top last year? I don't think so.
I think it's going to end up being
it's going to be real quiet.
Super uneventful.
Yep. I think Russell Wilson goes nowhere. Rodgers goes nowhere. It just comes down to Watson if they can get that done. But that is an organization that just hired Lovie Smith to be its head coach. So who knows what they're going to do. I mean, they may just buckle in on Watson and say, we're not moving you. We're not moving you. Nothing would surprise. I mean, Lovie Smith took the Illinois job for a paycheck, one more last big paycheck. That's why he took the Illinois job. And he ran it into the ground. It was already in the ground. He continued it into the ground and is now the head coach of another NFL team.
Yeah, they've never recovered from Jeff George leaving and going number 1 overall in the NFL draft in 1991.
Pretty good with Ronnie Zook in a Rose Bowl in the 90s. I'm not sure Jeff George ever led him to a Rose Bowl, did he?
I don't know about that. Very talented guy, ahead of his time.
No, but did he?
I don't know.
Think he
I have
did.
no idea.
I believe he did.
No clue.
He was on those teams with Simeon Rice.
Pretty good one, too.
Yeah. There was what was the other guy? They had 2 defensive players on that team, Simeon Rice and Hardy.
Nickerson?
No. Last name was Hardy, I want to say.
Greg?
Blanking on it.
Greg Hardy?
Could have been.
Ed Hardy? Did he make cool T-shirts for a little while? That really weren't cool, but they were.
Never bought one.
They were hot. They were hot.
I remember seeing the people in them just going, nope.
I don't think I ever had an Ed Hardy.
No. It's ridiculous. Look ridiculous walking around like that. Like you're in the band of the Jackass guys or something, walking around the suburbs. That stuff on.
Kevin Hardy.
Linebacker. Yeah, he won. Yeah, they were good. They were both top 10 picks.
Number 2 overall pick.
There you go. And Simeon Rice was 3 or 4.
Great question.
Pretty sure.
Jags
Same draft.
6-01, Cowboys in 02, Bengals 3 and 4.
Yeah.
This was on the Zook team?
No.
This was with Jeff George?
This was in the 90s.
Yeah, after.
Simeon Rice and
that's what I mean.
And Kevin Hardy. And I want to say that Simeon Rice went in the top 5 too. At Illinois.
Stand by. He was the third pick.
There you go. So they went 2 and 3. Yeah. Pretty good.
And Jeff was number 1. No big deal.
Pretty good. None of those 3 guys, all those Illinois greats, none of them really.
Would you have had though in the 90s that that Illinois produced a number 1 pick, a number 2 pick, and a number 3 pick just in a decade?
You wouldn't have had that now. You would have had that then. I mean, the Big
clearly.
Ten at that time, though, it was a league that had tremendous talent.
Yeah.
Tremendous talent in that league. When you think about just the draft, think about who Michigan State, I mean, Penn State wasn't in the league at that point, but Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State, all those teams put dudes in the league.
Do you think people would believe today that Drew Brees played at Purdue?
Well, that was the other thing that the Big Ten – no, but that's the other thing that the Big Ten was able to do is there were some innovators. You know, when Joe Tiller's at Purdue, he's an innovator. No one in the Big Ten was running spread, and Joe Tiller was at Wyoming. They hired him at Purdue, and he brought the spread. And he went and got a Texas quarterback to run it, and they threw it 50 times. And everyone's like, oh, this is an equalizer. And then the last 10 years in college football, everybody ran the spread.
Does it, right.
And so now when you run the spread and you have Alabama's players, it's tough to beat them. And that Georgia's about the last one who kind of doesn't. They won it just because of the sheer amount of talent on the defensive side of the ball. But no, I kind of think it's going to be a little bit quiet. Speaking of those coaching hires, it's all done. We'll go around the league on that front coming up next. And the Steelers with a surprising interview, perhaps, for their general manager position and what it could have to do with Ohio State football, if you remember this correctly. There's a little hint for the kids. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. OBM, Ohio Business Machine, preferred copier provider, your Cleveland Browns. They have all the X's and O's for your office. Call 216-485-2000 or visit ohiobusinessmachines.com as we go around the league. Mentioned this earlier. Texans get Lovie Smith to be the head coach there, which is – and there's just no way, like, Nick Caserio was that's how that was going to end up.
He said today that, obviously how happy they are with the hire and that the suit filed by Brian Flores had nothing to do with the decision that was made there. And then Flores' attorneys put out a statement that yesterday.
Quite suspect.
Sometimes
Not the
say
correct
less.
tone, man. Like, sometimes shut up.
Say less. You filed it. Now let it play out. You got a nice thing from the NFL.
Yeah.
Say less. A lot of people involved in this. Say less.
Be done.
Say less.
Lock it up. I had that conversation with Black Cobra last night. So he was grounded from iPad and goes into
for what?
Just being on it. I was just sick of it. I was like seeing it too much. Like enough. So I just took it away. And like I don't like to see him on that stuff too much. So if I see it, I just pull it. So I'm like, all right, I've had enough. We're done with this for the week. So I pulled it, and it was in my room. And so Amy took Beamsy to his, I don't know, some sort of Catholic duty thing that he does on a Monday. And so Bootsy and I and Black Cobra are at the house, and I said, Bootsy, where is your brother? He goes, this is a direct quote. He goes, he's dropping a deuce and playing on his iPad. And I said, oh, wonderful. That's great. So I'm thinking to myself, he's doing what? So I go up to his room, and in his bathroom, he's got the door locked, and he's got the iPad, and I can hear it. So now he's cooked.
Hey, he's toast. It was banned.
It's been banned.
Banned.
You're banned.
Yeah.
So it's banned. So now he knows he's in trouble, but he's in the middle of his business. So all right, here's your time. So we get done, and I said, all right, you're the most precious thing to him is bedtime.
You've done it now.
You blew it, boy. So I go, all right, the thing that matters, you could do anything to him, but if you take away his bedtime, forget it. I mean, that's as bad as it gets. So he has to go up right now at 9:05. He goes upstairs at 9:05.
Okay.
I'll give him like 5-minute increments every few months as he's building up. So he had to go up at 9:05. So I said, all right, it's at 8:55. Throws a fit. Terrible.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Just it's game changer. Every minute to him is critical. So we're on the way back. He went and watched Bootsy play basketball with me. So we're on the way back, and he goes, I said, listen, like it's 8:55, remember? Like that's it. Don't make this a big deal. He's like, it's for the rest of the week? And I said, no, for today, and then you'll go back. You'll be fine. So it comes, we're just watching the Olympics. It goes to 8:55. I said, all right, Paige, go. Can I just watch one more? Nope. Go. 8:55. Go. Move. But I just want to watch it. No. Go. So now it's 8:56. So now he starts having a conversation with me about it. But what did I even do? I said, you betrayed my trust. He goes, I betrayed your trust. And I go, yeah, you did.
The
you
iPad was
betrayed
banned.
the trust, and now you're making it more difficult.
Yeah.
So he won't just go upstairs.
He's trying to converse with you
He's
until 9:05.
trying to have a conversation with me about this now.
Yeah.
I said, there's nothing you can say that's going to make this better. It'll all only make this worse.
You know what? 8:55 tomorrow, buddy.
Yep, I was going to say, you're pushing the
So
button.
I go, that's exactly what I said. I said, you just bought yourself 8:55 tomorrow. Oh, God.
What's Bootsy? Is
Stumping
Bootsy cheerleading this?
No, he's already upstairs at this point because he goes to bed before.
Okay.
So he's already
So
upstairs.
this is just one-on-one.
It's and the wife's there. So so he goes stomping upstairs. My wife goes, well, I'll be up to tuck you in. He goes, don't bother. Slams it there, goes to bed. So this gets back to Brian Flores. Just stop talking.
Sometimes gots to.
You're winning. You're getting off pretty easy here, bud.
Yeah.
Classic.
Not great.
Saints promoted Dennis Allen. So they had interviewed Eric Bieniemy, and there was some thinking that there was some momentum there. Not so. Dennis Allen, defensive coordinator, becoming the head coach of the Saints. That is a quarterback-less franchise. Go ahead.
Currently, how about the fact that there were, according to reports out of New Orleans, general manager Mickey Loomis had 2 criteria for his head coach. Did you see this?
I did not.
Criteria 1, familiarity with the Saints and their culture. Criteria 2, head coaching experience.
Okay. Well, why are we interviewing Eric Bieniemy?
He had ties to the New Orleans area, so they said that was familiar.
Bieniemy
Obviously,
did?
Yeah, no head coaching experience. Yeah.
I think he's from California, and he played at Colorado.
This is from the article that I was reading about.
The enemy was at Colorado.
Yeah, for sure. he has the one thing about him that I think some people forget, and it's a long, long time ago. Like the statute of limitations long past, but he was in trouble with the law a few times at Colorado, and I want to say maybe one time shortly after Colorado. That's been 30-some years ago, but still.
Anyhow, so apparently the big point in this whole thing was that only of the 6 candidates they interviewed, only Dennis Allen filled both criteria.
That criteria.
And so
he's
perhaps it's not a surprise that he won. Hold on, I'm going to find this because now,
by the way,
because I
the
read
Saints
it,
are projected
so it must
to
be
be
true.
somewhere between 65 and 70 million over the cap.
Yeah, how do they?
So how do you
Well, and they got ownership. Things are pretty crazy there
Yeah.
after Tom Benson passed and his wife and then his kids. There's a fight there over it. I mean, the Saints are New Orleans, like obviously, and they own the Pelicans too, so they would obviously offload. Not that they need the cash, but they would offload them first before they'd ever do anything with the Saints. But I do think that the Saints operation is an interesting one. Like you feel like it could crumble a little bit.
I mean, that's a lot. It's not an attractive job.
Well, and I also
it's
think
not-
don't you think it's a little bit like sometimes that happens with college jobs where you say, well, was it the coach or was it the program? Like I think that could happen like with Duke. I mean, it's happening right now with Carolina with Hubert Davis, but like could that happen at Duke? Like Coach K is Duke basketball. When he leaves, can they maintain whatever that is with John Shire? I don't know. But that's kind of what I wonder about with the Saints. Like can they, without Breeze and without Peyton, what are the Saints? They defined the organization for 20 years.
We'll find out. I mean, they tried to get him out of retirement.
Breeze?
Yeah, this year for that Monday night game when they ended up starting, I think, Ian Book.
Yeah, the Notre Dame kid. Yeah.
Right. Please come back. Listen, could have been good for the broadcast career. Get him back on the field there.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see what happens on that front with the Saints thing. Were you looking something up? I feel like you were
I'm trying to
looking up
find
some
it,
sort
but
of
now
data.
I can't find the particular article that I found the first. I don't remember what I searched exactly the first time when I was looking for this.
For the
but
Bieniemy stuff?
To make the notes, yeah.
Oh.
I know Aaron Glenn obviously was with the Saints franchise. He was one, so he had that portion of it checked, but obviously had not been a head coach. Bieniemy, they mentioned something, and maybe I misread the sentence. They had Bieniemy and Glenn in the same sentence, but
okay.
No, I'm trying to find it.
All right, very good. The Steelers interviewing ESPN NFL analyst Louis Riddick for their GM opening. Most people think that one's going to be in-house, that Pittsburgh's going to fill that in-house, but Riddick interviewing for that job. He had often said that if he ever does get a job in the NFL as a GM, he would hire Ryan Day, would be his first call if he got to hire a coach. Probably not going to get to hire a coach if he is the general manager of the Steelers, as they're probably quite happy with the man who has that job now, and they don't go through coaches over there. So I imagine he would not have an opportunity to do that, but should he ever, there you go.
All right, I found it. From the Sporting News, this is just a pretty innocuous line that may not be true. It says Bieniemy grew up in New Orleans while Glenn played for the Saints in 2008, was the team's defensive back coach from 2016 to 20. Now, he was born clearly in California, was Eric Bieniemy, but maybe he did grow up in New Orleans.
For some reason, I thought he played high school football. And we're spending a lot of time on Eric Bieniemy's past, probably an inordinate amount. But I feel like he was a California high school football player.
Here we go. Hold on. Here it is. Eric Bieniemy may have physically left New Orleans back in 1979, but the place never really left him. The Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator still considers New Orleans to be home, despite the fact that he's not called it such for more than 4 decades now. It's in his accent, where a couple generations of his family still reside. He still carries the city's spirit with him. The root of who we are, where we're from, it's right there, said Bieniemy, who will soon coach the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. His grandmother was born and raised there, so were his mother and father. All of his aunts and uncles lived in the lower Ninth Ward, and much of his family was displaced by Hurricane Katrina. Most of them made their way back and rebuilt their life after the water receded.
So he left when he was 10.
He was 10 years old when his parents divorced, and he moved to California with his mother, but that first decade established foundation for his character.
Bishop Amat Memorial.
There you go.
In La Puente,
That's L.A.
California.
Yeah, that's Southern California.
But he
because
was there
everything that
10.
they had built, everything that was built at Colorado under Bill McCartney at the time was built out of Southern California. That was the pipeline.
Yep.
He
Good pipeline.
Yeah, it was very, very good. But that's the way that went. Would you, if you spent the first 10 years of your life somewhere, would that be home, or would the next 8 years of your life be home?
It's a very fair and good question. I don't know the answer to that because I didn't do that.
I didn't either. But my cousin did that. Like, so they had their kids through 10 were in Montana, and then they moved out here. Now they're in Michigan. And I just wonder, like, what is home for the kids? Like the parents, I'm sure Montana would always be home, but in terms of the kids, what's home for them?
Yeah. He says, this is what Bieniemy says about New Orleans, shaped a lot of who I am. Growing up there in the early 70s, there were a lot of different things going on. It made me understand that life is not always crystal stairs. You had to work hard for everything you want to earn. My parents worked their tails off to make sure they provided a roof over our head and to make sure we could live a stable life. And Bieniemy also does not have his contracts up, right? So he
has he would have right now he would have none.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm guessing he ends up back in Kansas City. They seem to really like him there.
Yeah.
One thing that you start to do the musical chairs with the quarterbacks, and we were talking how quiet it's going to be. We talked about the Saints. We've talked recently about the Bucks. We just talked about the Steelers. I mean, I'm not even talking about there are a lot of teams that do not have viable winning options at quarterback. I'm not saying, boy, we'd like to improve this. We got a guy, but we'd like to improve it. I'm talking about no viable option. None.
It's much easier to go with and say, okay, who knows for sure what they're doing at quarterback next year?
Even viable, I think there's maybe 12 to 14 teams in the league that have viable options. I mean, it feels like there's 12 spots in the league without a viable quarterback.
At least. I'm just trying to go right here on teams that know for sure who's their quarterback next year, right? 100%. That would say 100%. In the AFC, you've got.
You'll have more in the AFC than NFC.
Certainly. So I think in the AFC you have Bills, Patriots, Jets. 100% know who their quarterback is.
Yeah.
Now, do we know if Wilson is viable or Mac Jones is long? No, not yet. In our division, Burrow, Lamar, and us potentially.
Yeah.
I think we're more in the who knows, but as of now, I think, Baker Mayfield is your quarterback. And then Trevor Lawrence, Mahomes, and Herbert. So 3 in the AFC North, 3 in the AFC East, 1 in the AFC South, and 2 in the West. So that's 9 on that side of the ledger out of 16.
See, I think Raiders feel like that he's their quarterback.
You think?
I do. Because I just don't think it's a matter of options.
I'm just saying 100%.
No, 100% probably not. Probably not. But it feels like, I guess based on how I think this offseason is going, I think he's going to end up being.
NFC, you've got Dak in the East is 100%er. In the North, Fields. In the South, is there anybody? I mean, Matt Ryan has to play quarterback for them with his contract.
There's almost no way for anybody else to play quarterback.
2 of them are quarterback list. And then in the West, you would have Stafford, Kyler, and that's it.
That's it. Everybody else has some question.
And so that's 1, 2, 3. That's 5.
Yeah.
So
what are you talking about?
14 of
teams
32.
That say, this is who's the guy.
And there's a
lot of It's pretty wild, and I just don't think there's enough. I don't think that there's too many seats for people that are walking around.
Right, of course, and that's why that's why people say, okay, all the people out there who want quarterback change all around the league, whether that be in Las Vegas, whether that be here, whether that be in Minnesota,
anywhere.
Who are you getting?
Where are you going to get them?
Where are you getting them from?
Who are you getting?
What's the supply?
I mean, you heard the thing you said yesterday about Cousins with Minnesota. Like they like him.
The only guy that I think for sure is going to be available. So you got Watson, maybe Rodgers, maybe Russ.
Yeah, but I don't even know if Watson's for sure.
Sure. If he's even eligible to play.
Is he tradable? Is he eligible to play?
Garoppolo is the one guy that it feels like is for sure to be on the move.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
You had talked about 14. There's not enough.
No.
And it's not a great quarterback year in the draft. So there's that. That's why people are going to talk themselves into these guys at quarterback. Still so much more to come. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. The car, truck, or motorcycle accident caused you injury. Call the injury lawyers at 1-800-ELK, Ohio for a free case review. Elk & Elk is a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. The next level's coming up next. We're back tomorrow. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.